Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is the Community Pod, and I am your host, Lester Class. Each and every episode is going to be filled with amazing stories from amazing people. You will hear the different journeys people went through, or are still going through, to be able to do what they love. From the failures to the successes and everything in between. This is a place to get to know the person behind their passion, because people only get to see the successes and not what it took to get there. If this is your first time tuning in, please subscribe and leave a review if you love the content. Now finally, I would love to welcome you to the Community Pod.
What's going on, everyone? This is the Community Pod. I fucked up a few times, so if I'm a little crazy right now, it's cool. But I got Mish in the building with Obscene, one of my favorite brands. What's going on, Mish?
Good, man. Thank you for having me. I also want to apologize for not being the few times I was supposed to do this. We rescheduled.
Nah, it's cool, bro.
Yeah, I want to apologize. I got you a gift also. Got the tea here.
I appreciate it.
Obscene Hazard tea for you. You always been a real supporter. I want to say thank you for that.
I appreciate it, for
I
real.
need a tip for you though.
All right, cool. Yeah. Okay, I appreciate that.
Nah,
Actually,
yeah,
a lot. So let's start, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where are you from?
Well, I was born in Queens, New York. Lived there for about almost 10 years. Moved to Delaware. Lived in New York again. And then Jersey.
And then Jersey?
Yeah, it's a long story, but I was kind of everywhere.
Okay. So that's exactly what we're going to get into, your story.
Mm-hmm.
So what was life growing up into where you are now, finding your passion?
To sum it up, I came from a very strict, I would say, past. I would say due to religion, obviously is a big part. I was a Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
So that definitely plays a big part. So I wasn't really accustomed to a lot of things that I am now, I would say, in the past. So definitely everything is still, to this day, is new to me. I'm not going to lie to you. Just doing simple things like celebrating a holiday or a birthday. But yeah, I have quite a past, but I'm just grateful for where I'm at now. It made me who I am. And yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah. So what life experience do you feel is what really built you in order to be who you are today? Because I would like to get into the Jehovah's Witness. How has that affected you into who you are today?
Well, first of all, I'm not saying it like it was a bad thing that I went through. That's number one. When I do talk about this, it made me who I am today, and I'm extremely grateful. And I still do believe it. It's just my path. So just want to let that out real quick. But to be honest, it like I said, it just teach me a lot of discipline within myself, because obviously you got to be a sex after marriage, obviously, no holidays, just a lot of strict things. Obviously the clothes too, that's a huge factor. No beard, literally everything I'm wearing and how I look is but it just taught me a lot as a person. I'm very grateful. I would say it got me to be a very strong person. Also have boundaries within myself and still have that discipline within me. Obviously, I'm living a more free life, but definitely still know where I came from.
Okay.
So that's one thing I'm definitely grateful for. And me and my family, we've been through all of it. So that's one thing I would say they played a huge part of where I am and why I am today. So yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
Nah, I like the way they answered that, because I feel correct me if I'm wrong, and I would love to hear how it happened, where I feel a lot of people, if you don't completely follow in the faith of God, right, where you do everything to a T, it's you're not following him at all, which I feel isn't correct.
Yeah. There's a lot of different opinions when it comes to that, and I'm not here to tell you what you should think. But at the end of the day, it's your heart, and you know what is right with your relationship with God. That's just what it comes down to. It's just you and God. There's never in between or someone else that should tell you what to do or what you should do. You can take advice, but at the end of the day, it's within your heart on what you should do. Me personally, like I said, it made me who I am today, and I'm totally grateful for that. and I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for that. So
Yeah.
definitely, like, just keep you and your relationship with God just that. Don't ever let anyone come in between that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really talk about religion, so like this is kind of new to me talking
Nah,
about
yeah.
this, but it's a big part of where I came from, so I feel like I had to let that out.
No, yeah.
Yeah, so
All right, cool. So, no, I feel like it's a good thing that you're talking about it because myself, I feel like there's times where I do feel a little confused and feel a little, I don't want to say threatened or like, how do I want to put this correctly? Where I feel pressured. I feel pressured to not do certain things or like, because of myself, I have tattoos and that's technically not correct, but I still believe I have a relationship with God and I believe God loves me for what He has created. So I appreciate what you're saying about God, and I find it very interesting as well as motivating because a lot of people, when you hear Jehovah's Witness, a lot of people are like, oh my God. But at the same time, it's like, you followed in your faith and you should be proud of that. You know what I mean? And I know you are because it's a point in your life where you're able to learn about, God. And that's an amazing thing. A lot of people don't get the opportunity to do or just decide not to.
For sure. Also, I would like to say, like, it's all about being sane within yourself too, because not for nothing, like, I don't know if this is a good or bad example, but people like Michael Jackson and Prince, they came from an upbringing of a Jehovah's Witness. I don't know if you knew that, but obviously they're one of the most talented people in this world, but also it's just about being sane within yourself. I feel like that plays a huge part too, I would say. So always make sure you keep the mental health aspect always sane. Like, take care of that. You come first at the end of the day before anyone. And obviously God, you and God. But that's one thing I would like to also emphasize. Just make sure you're okay before anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's interesting where you say you stated that everything that you're wearing, what you're doing now, isn't exactly what you would have been doing as a kid when you were a Jehovah's Witness, correct?
Yeah.
And I want to know, because you say your parents played a big role into who you are today. So what was it like when you made the decision to be, I guess, a little bit more, I guess, yourself, where you're able to wear the things you want to wear and, grow the beard, but like things like that. How did your parents react? And like, yeah, how did your parents react?
Well, to give a quick like summary, my dad, when my parents got divorced, my dad actually became a atheist.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know. So he lived his own life. So honestly, he didn't have a big part in terms of the religion aspect anymore after that. So it was just my mom. And she was still very strict, but also she kind of was understanding because of a lot of stuff we've been through already. So she didn't want to be too hard. Definitely a big switch for her though. Like, obviously having rips in the pants, having a beard, tattoos, just a lot of different things that is not considered, like, obviously the best.
Yeah.
In terms of being as a clean person. So that definitely played a big part. It was a crazy switch up. But I feel like as long as your parents know that, like, you tell them and they see it by your work ethic and how you're doing your life, that you're doing good and you're working for something great that you want in your life, I feel like they trust you. And I feel like I got that trust from my mom, especially since I started the brand.
Okay.
At first, she was a little iffy, the name, the way I represented, like the way I would just represent the stuff, especially with the girls, the models, the shoots. It was a little, obviously, out there, crazy in her part. But it makes sense to her now. I'm not going to lie. Like, I feel like she really understands it now, and we're just on the same page now. So that's a blessing, I would say.
Nah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be a blessing because I feel like when you have that that parent support, it's everything.
For sure, man. It's beautiful, bro. Like, even my dad too. Like, my dad, I can tell, like, he's just happy to see someone, especially an entrepreneur, like someone in the family line, like, besides being a nurse or a doctor, because you know how it is out there when it comes to, like, cultural parents, especially Haitian parents. If it's not school, it's you're either a bum or you're either blah blah blah. But he's not like that. And that's one thing I really do respect about my father. Like, he trusts in me and he sees by the work I put in that it's like it's bigger than just a brand. Like, it's just all my life. Like, I really want to do this. So
okay.
yeah.
So when is it do you feel like that you found yourself? Was there a certain time or certain thing that happened in your life that really made you, I guess, find your identity?
Not gonna lie. Between, I would say, when I got kicked out, cause I'm not trying to put all my business out there, but like ever since my mom, when she did, not anymore, she had a man she was married to. When I got kicked out, I feel like that taught me a lot in terms of, yes, obviously it's like bad and it's a lot going on all at once, but overall it taught me a lot as a person and becoming a man, like just learning about how money really works when you're on your own. Learning how to just keep your mental health, knowing who you are as a person without having family there 24/7. Just doing a lot of different things to keep your mental straight and just be healthy as a person. One thing I would say is a huge distraction at that time for me was like clubbing. Like that's all I did. Like it was actually kind of sick. Like partying, house parties all the time. I don't regret nothing. Like, but like I was that guy, like that, just having fun, drinking, parties, obviously girls, and all that. Like that definitely came into a big play. But like I said, it made me who I am today. I had to go through that to learn. So all those like big things that I had to go through, I feel like it taught me a lot on discipline and just knowing life is a balance.
Yeah.
So
So
definitely.
when you got kicked out, not to get into it like a crazy amount, because I know that, something like that is a very touchy subject, right? But do you feel like that was one of your lowest of lows?
For sure, man. That never happened to me before, obviously.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, I came from, I feel like I never came from the dirt. So I'm not going to lie, I never came from the dirt or nothing like that. So actually getting kicked out when I'm living a lavish and comfortable life, it's like a whole new experience for me that I honestly wasn't taught. So I had to learn myself, and I learned a lot from that. I even lived with one of my best friend's aunt sitting over there for about like almost 2 years. Like it was an experience. We had our highs and lows. I had my highs and lows, but it taught me how to be a man, bro. Like sometimes you got to go through the hardest things in life that surprise you in order for you to like learn and become the person you really want to be. Sometimes you can't do it by just working or saying you're going to do it. Something has to happen sometimes, whether it's the craziest thing in the world or something small has to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So just to go ahead and add to what you were saying, right? As a question, you're the second person I'm asking this, so it's a little bit of pressure, not too much though. Do you feel like the word or just failure as a whole is more important than the success? Like, do you feel like do you need to experience success or failure more?
My general opinion, I feel like failure is the number one key to success. Like, I feel like you learn so much more through failures than success. Like, success is obviously one of the best feelings also, but with failure, you're facing basically your demons. Like, you're facing things that you wish would never happen to you, but it has happened to you. And then from that, you're going to become stronger, bro. Like, it just makes you stronger as a person, mentally, physically. Like, without failure, bro, like, it's just, you won't be who you are. And I feel like a lot of people, unfortunately, are afraid to face that part of life, whether it's anxiety or just a lot of different things. But I feel like you have to do that in order to become successful, especially where you want to be in your life. Like, that's just part of it. So that's my opinion with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree because there's times when you fail that you grow as an individual. Every time you fail, you grow because if it's not one thing, it's another. And I've been taught that at a young age where, like, if everything's going good right now, just wait. Something's about to happen. Just be ready for it. And you will never be ready for it, you know?
For sure. Especially, like I said, if you don't come from the dirt and you're one of those people that live comfortable as a kid, it hurts the most, bro, because you just seen all good and all comfortability, all that, and then it hits you, and it's like, damn, bro, what do I do? Like, I've been through that, so, and I feel like going through that, though, made me, like, the strongest, like, I had the strongest mindset I ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Whether it's because of age or just going through everything I've been through. So I'm grateful for that in a way.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I don't regret it. So.
No. So what is it that wakes you up every morning, maybe even keeps you up at night, to be able to do what you're doing today?
Not trying to sound so generalized, but definitely my family. Like, I'm a huge family person, more than anyone would ever think. Like, that's like my number one, family. Without family, I feel like it's hard to just do everything yourself. Like, so definitely family. I would say also just thinking about what my kids will want. I know it kind of relates to family. I don't have kids or nothing yet, but I'm saying just for my future self.
Yeah.
I always want to think, like, from my future self, would I be happy what I'm doing now? Like, would they be proud of what I'm doing now when I wake up? Definitely care about that. And I would say, well, I want to say one more thing. When it comes to that, I love money too. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love money.
I feel like when you I feel like when you say I feel like when a lot of people say they love money, it's more that the money brings them freedom. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's obviously not happiness. Don't get it twisted. There's celebrities that unfortunately like kill themselves or lost people due to that. But in my opinion, if you use it right, like it's like one of the best things in life for you. If you use it right though, you're not blowing it on like strip clubs or just buying hella expensive shit with no priorities, like obviously. Yeah. But I feel like money definitely is a big thing though if you use it right. Yeah.
Okay. And what I didn't get to, I don't feel like you answered this part, but that's completely fine. But I don't remember, or you could have, where you said like when is it that you found the passion for designing clothing?
I would say 2015. So a year after I graduated high school. Quick story. I was in Ant's, actually, his house in his room. We were always fashionable type of guys, especially me. Like, fashion is what made my day better. Like, my mood will always depend on my clothes. Like, you'll know if I'm happy with what I'm wearing. You know if I'm sad with what I'm wearing. It was just always easy for me. Like, it was just fun, easy. It just makes you feel good. So we definitely started 2015 in his room. I don't know if you want me to go in depth on what the meaning for obscene came from.
That's also that I would love for you to get into that.
Yeah, so just to give that also, so obscene, that was the time I got kicked out also, just to give a quick backup on that. So I was living a very free life, I would say. I was trying to figure out what I want and what I do and what I wanted to do with my life. Obviously, fashion was always number one. I was also working at Zara at that time. Okay. Which is another story I'll bring up in a few. But at that time, I feel like we got obscene because we were just very to ourselves, whether people thought it was good or bad. Obscene in our opinion just made you is what you are, like who you are. Some people consider you obscene for just having tattoos, but other people would think it's the most beautiful thing in the world. Obscene is just being you, being what you want to be, not caring what people think of you. It's not even being fly necessarily. It's just being what you wear. Like, if you're wearing something that no one else is wearing, and that's just who you are, like that I feel like, in my opinion, is the best thing in the world. Yeah. So definitely we got obscene from just being you. And I know it could look kind of dark, but I'm not gonna lie. Not saying my life is dark or nothing, but I love black. I love a lot of dark colors. I feel like there's always a light to the dark to the light. So I just feel like I brought a good meaning into it instead of the bad part people always think when they hear obscene. Yeah. So that's my quick story. So we definitely started 2015. We made the name. We got the LLC the month of. And then from there, we had like a whole game plan after that. It was just me and him that started at first. And then that's when, by month, we started having a whole team. And then that's when I also wanted to say, at that time I was working at Zara, which was another blessing in disguise. Met a lot of creatives, like even people you don't probably know that are like huge now. And then also played a big part with Obscene that I'm grateful for. So I want to say shout out to that. But definitely like that's my quick story of how I started getting into it. Yeah. It definitely was kind of hard at first because not trying to say everyone's like think this is a wave now or anything, having a brand, but before it wasn't necessarily a wave. It
Yeah.
was just you just doing it. So when I did it, it was very hard, not gonna lie. But it was a challenge I was willing to face because I love fashion and I just love everything about it. So definitely it was very hard when it comes to finances, making designs, something as simple as that. And also having people just like your stuff and want to support you. Like I feel like people like me because I was very family oriented and also I just love to party. So I was just always that type of guy, but I also wanted people to take me as a business person too. So that's the quick story I would say.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what do you feel like are like obstacles you've had to face when becoming a clothing designer?
Definitely the designs. I'm not gonna lie. At first, I didn't have a designer or nothing. I literally had to like have graphic designers help me make the designs. I was never the best at drawing, so that itself is very hard, as you can tell. So that, and then the money aspect for sure, man. Like learning that you need a business account, your taxes gotta get that situated, LLC, having money for this and then having money for this for your business, all of that, bro. I was only like 20, 19 years old, so like imagine having to deal with all of that just with myself, and then I'm with Aunt at that time also. Like it's hard. We didn't really have a mentor. We didn't have a financial advisor. So the money aspect, I feel like is very underrated when it comes to starting a business. And another thing I would say is also just standing out. Like it was easy, but also like we didn't want to do too much. Like we just want people to see that we're very, like, everything is genuine.
Yeah.
Like we're not doing this for the money. We're not doing this to look cool. We're not doing this just because for a phase. Like this is something we have done for almost like 7 years. And the people know, like, who are watching this podcast, some people, they know when we first started, and it's crazy where we are now in the aspect of things. No matter how many breaks we took in the middle of it, unfortunately, but it had to happen in order to get where we at now.
Yeah.
So
now that we talked about the obstacles, right? I would love to hear some of the best moments you've had as a clothing designer.
Dang. Throughout the 7 years?
Yeah, throughout the 7 years, like just some that just stick out.
Definitely GQ. We got featured in GQ.
Nice.
And at that time, Michael B. Jordan was on the cover, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
Another big. I'm starting from the back and then forward.
Okay.
Another big thing was seeing the first, like, just $1,000 in the business account. Like just seeing that, like, I know it's not crazy money, but just seeing that as a young person, you're like, damn, bruh, I did it. Like, it's crazy. Having with Tyler at the time, she was very huge at that time. Shout out to her. I feel like she definitely played a huge part in our first release for Obscene. I would say also doing our first fashion show in Ruggers.
Okay.
Shout out to them. They definitely helped out with that. Definitely going to Paris, Cali, having pop-ups out there. And that's all I could think of. There's so many things, though. Like, I don't want to go make a whole list. But just things like that. And also just seeing my dad and mom come to our pop-ups, I feel like that really makes me happy inside. Especially the one, we did a pop-up actually at Mellow Mall. I don't know if you heard the Strong store.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that was a big one when I saw like my dad and mom come to that. I feel like that just let a spark in my heart, like, to see that I'm doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
No matter y'all like the brand or not, I am doing the right thing for my brand.
Yeah. Like,
and they could see that, and that's one thing I would say is a huge thing besides the other things. So yeah, that's one thing I would definitely say.
Okay. So I gotta ask, now that you went into them, right? GQ is crazy. So what was that feeling like being featured on GQ magazine?
It felt surreal. Like, it didn't feel real, but it was real, obviously. But it was just like, cause this happened like the end of the first year we started the brand.
Wow. Which
is insane. It's a lot to take in. Like, you're not used to that. And then we were getting all these orders too for that, like, exact piece. That piece at that time, I don't know if you know, but if this is like a vintage hoodie, It was called the Mood hoodie.
Okay.
It had Obscene all over the back, and then the flower here. A lot of people who knew Obscene when it first started know what I'm talking about. That piece went viral, so like a lot of people would definitely buy that. And it was a lot to take in. I'm not gonna lie, like it was just a lot to take in, but definitely made me feel like we're doing the right thing, like we're on the right track, and if anything, we're faster than where we should be, which is the best feeling, but also can be frustrating as a young person. But it's good stress though.
Yeah.
Like I'm grateful for that. Like it was just crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I had
Okay.
dreams about it the day it happened. Like couldn't sleep. I had dreams about it. Like it was just a lot, but in a good way.
Yeah. So I want to ask, right?
Mhm.
Like well, no, there's two things. I just want to get mixed up right now.
No,
So basically, damn. Well, let me just go to the one I know right now. So you went to Cali and Paris, right?
Mhm.
What was that like?
So the Paris aspect, I'm not gonna lie, they're not a big fan of Americans.
Oh, okay.
So just to give you a heads up, we were also in London. London is the opposite. They are obsessed with Americans. It's crazy. But it was insane, bro. That's when we dropped like a Paris Obscene tee, and it just went crazy the day of. Like we didn't have a pop up there or anything, but we definitely networked with a lot of people. Like even this girl that was like a huge intern for the Balenciaga. Well, when it wasn't.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
it's canceled
probably.
now, but before when it was a cool thing.
Yeah.
We just met a lot of models, a lot of different people, and they looked up to us like very high, and it felt really good, like just to see that. And then with Cali, that's where we did have a pop up. Shout out to Jared, from Lost in Iraq. He's the one that honestly plugged us in with that. Like without him doing that, we wouldn't have probably been able to do that. So shout out to him. That was a crazy feeling. We definitely seen a lot of different type of people. People are very big out there in Cali, I feel like, and they do judge by status, but if they do love your stuff, it doesn't matter. They're gonna buy your shit. Don't matter what price. It could be $1 to 10 racks. They're gonna buy it if they love it. They have money out there. But it was a crazy feeling from that for sure. Like I would have never guessed that. And it was kind of last minute, that event, for Cali. Definitely a whole different vibe. I wouldn't really want to live there necessarily, but in terms of just the air out there is just very relaxing, I would say. But that's just my opinion of it. But yeah, grateful for that. It was crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so now that I remember the other question,
Mm-hmm.
what is some advice you would give to somebody, because a lot of your merchandise you can also sell in person. You do the pop-up shops and everything, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of it can be online based. So what advice would you give to somebody trying an online business, trying to set that up, and how could they be successful at it?
So first, I feel like you want to know, as a brand, where do you want to be in the next few years in terms of, do you want 100 stores all over the U.S., or do you just want 4? Or do you just want to be online based? You want to know your lane, I feel like. That's just my opinion. Like, you want to know your lane first. Then when you get that figured out, I feel like every business needs, obviously, a website, though, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do have a website, you want to also make sure you're doing 100% with the marketing. You're putting all into that. The models, posting on Instagram almost every day. Like, you got to be consistent as hell. If you're not consistent, it is hard to make sales on the internet. Even if it's just like one famous person wearing it for that one time, like that one big thing could be the startup. And that has happened for us too. I'm not gonna lie, we had a few celebrities. It definitely boosts up our online sales for sure. You definitely would just want to make sure you're marketing. That's the key to everything, I feel like. Marketing, posting, being consistent. If you're not a big internet person, you're going to have to be, unless you're hiring someone. That's just what it is. People, unfortunately, don't have stores. Like, I don't even have my own store. We only have our studio for now, where we do more of just lab work for our designs and just samples and all that. But the internet is going to have to be your best friend when it comes to having an online business.
Mm-hmm.
You got to promote. You got to send to influencers. You got to have a whole plan. Like, I know it can be it could be a lot sometimes. Yeah. But if you just have a plan and you have the right lane you want to take, it's gonna go the way you want to go. Whether it happens fast or slow, it's gonna go where you want to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that, I feel like we've touched on a lot of questions,
Mhm.
I kind of want to get a little bit more personal. So I want to know, like, what are your inspirations?
Inspirations. I would say my inspiration. What do you mean exactly? Like,
It can be anything, whether it be like, you know, somebody that you know, or like just like something you see for yourself in the future. What is that? What inspires you?
um, definitely a lot of these designers that I've seen that were almost homeless. Like, I definitely seen a lot of people live in a car, bro, and just start their design just by putting something on a tee because of their artwork. Just seeing people struggle in general and come up so much bigger than a lot of other people who had everything already
Mm-hmm.
is a big inspiration. Like, that definitely touches my heart. Definitely also, I would say, Virgil for sure. I know a lot of people love Virgil, but like, in RIP to him, but definitely to see how he came up too. Like, his stories was like insane too. Um, he definitely played a huge role, and then he just did everything too. If you notice, I feel like he just was into so many events, so many things, so many positions in his life. He had to do all at once, and he handled it so perfect. Like, I never would see this man cry, look mad. Like, it was insane to me. That's just my opinion. He definitely played a huge inspiration with that, and then also, uh, like, once again, my family. I feel like with my family and close friends, they definitely helped me realize our potential as a brand. Like, they'd be like, "Yo, we were on fucking GQ. Like, we do this shit. Like, we had a lot of celebrities wear our shit. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is when I'm unmotivated sometimes, because it happens, unfortunately. Um, Definitely a big inspiration is my family. They always pushing me, no matter what type of mood I'm in. So those are my, I would say, few inspirations right
Okay.
there. Yeah.
I gotta say, right, when you're speaking about like the motivation part, right?
Mm.
Like, I feel like this, you mentioned it, where there's times where you can get in your own head, and you
Sure,
really
man.
think that there's times where like maybe my brand isn't any different, or that my craft is not what I thought it'd be, or maybe I'm not at the point where I want to be. And
Yeah.
sometimes you could get in your own head. How do you feel like yourself? How do you try to get out of that?
Well, first, like this came back what we were talking about before. You need to realize your problems within yourself. That's number one. Realize, yo, I'm not good at this because of blah blah blah. Realize that and embrace it. Like, it happens. You're a human. You're not perfect. Uh, Definitely also talk to someone that you know is uplifting, and it's just gonna make you feel better. Like that's why I bring up my family a lot and my close friends. They're like the number one at that. Uh, Also, just having good mental health, and whether it's just like taking a day just off social media, just working out, something as simple as that, eating salad just for this one day, try something new, like just doing new things, and don't think life is just like we're robots.
Mm-hmm.
Like, life is what you make it, and if you want to be happy, you can be happy, bro. Like, it doesn't matter what situation you're in. Like, yes, there are gonna be things and moments where it's not the best, but like, we're alive and we're breathing, man. Like, and that is like a huge thing I always emphasize to myself. Like, and I'm so grateful for that. Like, not a lot of people can say that. Like, all the things that are going on in this world is like really bad out there. So definitely just motivating yourself and realizing there's a lot more to life than just Instagram, or just partying, or just having fun in the wrong ways sometimes. And another thing I do also is listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
So this is a great, I feel like this is just so crazy that this is my first podcast too. And I'm grateful for having me here. I appreciate that a lot. But I definitely listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of videos on YouTube of people who are on the come up, or they're already designers. Just keep your brain very motivated, man. Like, no matter what it is, man. Like, just keep being motivated.
Yeah.
It's hard out here, very hard, but I'm telling you, as long as you have the right people around you, you can do it. So that's another big thing. Make sure you have great people around you who are motivating you.
Yeah.
Whether they're there with you or even higher than you want to be in your life. Like, just keep people like that in your life. Don't stick around with people who are just lower and want to stay low and just do normal things and not do nothing spontaneous or different in life. So
to get right back into your brand, right? What is your favorite piece that you've ever made?
Dang, that's a hard one. Definitely the first ever piece, the mood hoodie. I'll send you that if you want to add that to the podcast. The mood hoodie, the green one. I don't think you've seen it. Like I said, it had Obscene all over the back. That was the most vintage piece that blew up when we first started. It's insane. Another piece I would say is definitely these cargos. I wear these almost all the time.
Okay.
I have different pairs, guys. Don't make it seem like I wear only these all the time. I would say the rhinestone hoodie for sure. The Squall rhinestone hoodie. Just a lot of pieces, man.
Yeah.
I love all my pieces. I feel like it's not really something I can ever just put in a box.
Okay.
So that's just my opinion, though.
All right, no problem. Yeah. No. And so, growing up, right, that you found your passion for designing clothing. Who were some designers that you looked up to? Because I know you mentioned Virgil. If you could give me maybe a top 3. Damn, it can even be like, what, that I'll save that for a later question. But yeah, so your top 3 growing up looking
and
up
Virgil's added to this or not?
Let's get Virgil not in this one.
Okay, I know people might hate me real quick, but definitely Kanye West.
Okay.
Kanye West for sure. Warren Lotus for sure. He honestly inspired Obscene to like the max with the skulls and everything like that. Skulls and bones. That's like our big main thing, I feel like, for Obscene. So definitely him. And I would say Rude. You know the brand Rude, right? Ruji?
I think so, yeah.
Ruji. Him. He's very luxury but also very streetwear.
Okay.
And that's where I feel like I'm trying to be right now.
Okay.
My life with the brand.
All right.
I definitely want I want to make streetwear, obviously, but I want it to be more upscale.
Yeah.
Very upscale, not just, I have to throw a design there. That will determine how much money you got to spend on it. Like, no, I want it to be, the quality would just speak for itself. And that's how, definitely, that would be my 3 designers right now.
All right. So now I'm going to ask this. This might be really difficult because you probably met a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Who would you put, or maybe, I don't want to say top 5 because I feel like you wouldn't be able to make it a top 5, but maybe just give me your top favorite clothing brands from your friend group or like the people around you.
That's hard, man. Top favorite, like how many?
Like maybe you can name as many as you want.
Okay.
Listen, I'll apologize for you in advance. If he leaves anybody out, just know that he doesn't mean to.
Yeah. I'm gonna be versatile with it. Definitely, like I said, Warren Lotus, because he's the inspo to all this. Definitely, I love me some Chrome Hearts before it was the Chrome Hearts that everyone wants to wear now. Just very dark, but also classy. I love that feeling to it. This is an anime brand I'm about to say. It's called Hypeland. I don't know if you heard of it.
Okay.
Just all anime, but with streetwear, which
Okay.
is beautiful to me. Also have another brand called Fate that I'm making.
I was actually just about to ask
So I don't know if you want, we'll get into that
Nah,
later.
yeah, we'll get into that.
I'm a big fan of anime, guys. So, another one I would say is called Basket Case.
Okay.
They're more online brand and just do pop-ups, but their stuff is so fire. Another one I would say, my opinion, I really love when smoke clears. That's just my opinion. And we have I feel like this is a lot, man.
There's a lot of brands.
Yeah. There's a lot.
So now I'm so sorry. I completely forgot about Fate because I remember you posting it and I was like, okay, so he's balancing 2 brands on himself now.
Yeah.
So I feel like you might get access a lot. Why not just one brand and have both of them on it? Like, what was the idea? Why decide to make 2 different?
To give a quick story, like I said before, I'm like a huge anime guy. Like, without anime, my anxiety would probably be times 100 than what it is now. Like that's like literally like my weed type. That's to give it a quick instance of that. So honestly, this the Fate brand was more. It wasn't even more of a business aspect. It was just like for fun. Like I literally like Obscene is fun too. Don't get me wrong, but for Fate, it's more. I'm literally doing whatever I want. Like in that aspect, like I'm putting whatever anime I want, and also making it look cool. And also, I feel like that is a coincidence. I feel like anime is in now.
No, yeah.
To people, whether they watch it or not, I feel like they see it.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and I'm not saying that's why I did it now, but it's just a coincidence that happened now too. I feel like there's just two sides of me. I feel like Obscene side, which is where I feel like I'm obviously totally myself, cool, dark, just feeling like just myself. Fate is more, I would say, a little nerdy side of me, but also just also doing what I want in terms of like anime.
Mm-hmm.
So they're two different brands, but they're obviously both dope to me, and I have the same love for them.
Okay.
So yeah, I definitely want to keep that leverage up for Fate too. I'm not ever gonna leave that behind. We just dropped our first collection, totally sold out. And that tells me right there, like I'm doing what is right.
Yeah.
Once again, so like I'm definitely proud of that for myself too. But yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
You ready?
Two different sides. Yeah.
Okay. Which one's your favorite, Obscene or Fate?
I don't play favorites here,
okay.
man.
No,
obviously, like it's like saying which kid do you love more,
exactly.
the 1-year-old or the 10-year-old. Like I'm always gonna have something special with the longevity of Obscene. So, but I'm not trying to ever downplay Fate either.
Exactly.
So.
No, I expected that though. I kind of wanted to see what was gonna
happen. Nah. They just have two. I feel like they're just two sides of
exactly.
Me. So like, I don't ever want to say this one's better than that side.
You express yourself in two different ways.
Yeah.
So that's why they're two different brands.
Literally. Yeah.
Nah, I wanted to ask. I wanted to see what you were saying. Okay, so one question I have to ask, right? So I don't know what other stuff you're doing outside of your brand, right? So I want to ask, how do you balance your everyday life and handling the two brands?
To be honest, I didn't know how to in my past. Like I had a whole 9-to-5 job after Zara. And I was working over 40 hours a week. Insane bread, obviously, because of all that money and time I put into it. But it just strayed me away from the brand. And it taught me that, like, I'm not the type of person where I can do so much with one thing I don't love and then have so little with what I do love.
Yeah.
So, honestly, at that point of my life, I didn't know how to handle it. And it was very hard. And I realized I'm going to have some to balance in my life. And honestly, that's when COVID came in.
Yeah.
And then because of COVID, job was cut after that for me. So from there, that's when I learned a lot about balance in life. And I feel like as long as you have a balance where you know you put this time in for, let's say you have a 9-to-5 again or any other job, and then you have a balance for what you love, which is your brand, you can do it. It just requires a lot of discipline.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have discipline a long time ago. I would go out and party right after on the weekends when weekends were my only free days. But I just use that to party, get lit, like just doing all that. Like, and I realized that was just my way of trying not to face my anxiety.
Okay.
It's so sad, but that's just what it is. And I feel like since I've been through all that, now I'm focused in the part of my life where I know what balance is. And as long as you have time for what you love, you can do other things too that you have to do in order to make money.
Okay.
You just got to have a good balance. There's no such thing, though, where you can't do something because you're working this many hours. Like, yeah, it's going to be very, very hard. But if you really have the discipline and the balance, you can do it. Like, I've seen a lot of, especially designers, like, have a whole, like, night job and then have to take care of kids and do all these other little things. And they still focus on the brand no matter if it's an hour a day or a day of the week. Like, you can do it.
Yeah.
It just all requires balance and discipline.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I want to ask, right, I think I have like about three more stored in my brain right now that I want to
No,
ask
you're
you.
fine. Yeah.
But the one I want to ask is, I feel like it's the deepest one I'll probably ask the entire interview.
Mm-hmm.
If you could go back in time and talk to the young Mish, what would you tell him, if anything? What would you, if there's anything you would tell him?
I would tell him two things actually. So the first thing I would say is like partying and having fun and just doing what you want that is not really necessarily benefiting you can always come later. Like, stop thinking, like, I know people have FOMO, fear of missing out, because I was a big person with that back in my day. Like, I sound like an old head, but I'm serious. Like, that can be a huge distraction with that. And then obviously, not trying to say just that, but girls obviously come into play with that, with going out. So, those main things, I feel like, unfortunately, I wasn't handling it the right way. So one thing I would tell my younger self is like, yo, you didn't need to do all that. That was just for fun and just giggles and smiles, and but you didn't honestly gain nothing from it. Like, yes, I learned from those mistakes.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. But you don't have to. You're not missing out on nothing. Like, once you're rich and you at where you want in your life, I feel like then you can do whatever you want, and then have a balance with your life. But if you're not where you want to be, I don't really understand why people, well, now this is me now, not before, why people want to spend all this money on going out and not face their fears of actually doing what they need to do. And the second thing I would say, which is a huge thing too, is stop looking to the side and behind you. Just keep moving forward. Like, my big thing was that I would look at a lot of brands and compare. And this was the old me once again, not now. I would definitely compare, especially we live in Jersey, very competitive.
Yeah, definitely.
Some people love more than others, unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
due to hype or just people around them. Um, I will always look to the side, and it kind of got me in my head because I'm like, damn, like shit, like damn, why can't that be me? I'm been here longer. I've been putting more work. My shit's more fire. Like, no, like we all have a time limit for everything. Like, it may take longer for me than a brand that just started yesterday. Like, that's just part of life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't ever look to the side and like compare, bro. Like, if you compare, that's probably the worst feeling because you're looking at something that's not you at all. So don't ever compare yourself to others, especially on Instagram.
Yep.
Because that was my main thing. I would compare a lot of clothing brands to what I have now. What can I do better? What is cooler that they don't have that I have? Like, just keep on doing you and do what you love. Like, don't ever look to the side or look behind you, and don't let social media put you in that trap.
Mm-hmm.
So that was definitely a main thing. I feel like a lot of creatives go through too.
Yeah, yeah.
Not trying to speak for them, but I feel like as a creative, you got to get past the fact that you can't look at other people in order to feel better. Just look at yourself and just do better. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's just my opinion.
All right. So this is my
Yeah.
last question before I end it off, right? I want people to know who Mish is, right? So this is going to be a very loaded question,
Yeah.
but what do you want people to know about you? What do you want the world to know about Mish
As a person,
as a person? Just who you are.
I would say that I'm a very, how would I say it? I just want everybody to win. Like, I'm not here to be in a competition because I have a brand or trying to look cool because I have a brand. I just want everyone to win around me. Like, my family, my close friends, and just the people I know that made me who I am. Like, I'm a genuine person. Like, I'm not here to like do nothing, no evil and tear nothing, or just to gain something for someone or be jealous. Like, I'm only here to do better, and I want other people to do better around me. Like, and that's about it. Like, and I'm a big nerd inside too. People think like I have this thing where like I always go out and I'm always I drink a lot, obviously, but I'm trying to cut down with that. And I want to look cool. Nah, like, I'm a big nerd inside. Like, whether you know that or not, like, and I'm just a genuine person. I'm very family oriented, and I just want to keep on doing what's best. And I'm a big believer in people doing what they love. Like, you can still do what you love, whether it makes you money at the time or not. Just keep on doing what you love, man. It's gonna work out if you put the work in, and you believe in yourself. You gotta believe in yourself before anything. If you believe in yourself, you're good. So I'm a big firm believer in that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
So now that we're ending it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
The camera is all yours. Any advice, or if there's anything you got going on, the camera is yours.
What I would say to the camera is, first of all, like, I appreciate him once again for having me on here. And everyone needs to go follow his social media. He's doing his thing, and it's happening fast already. As you can tell, he's having some pretty big people here. Not saying I'm big or nothing, but like, just keep on doing what you're doing, Lester. You're doing a great job. Like, don't ever like I said, don't look to the side, compare yourself to any podcast or other big influencers thinking you got to be like this fast. Just keep on doing what you're doing, bro. You're going great right now, bro. Just keep it going, bro. I promise you're going to be good.
Thank you.
And then to the people that are watching this, like, same for you guys, like, just keep on following your dream and believing in yourself and put the work in. Do not let your 9-to-5 job or this problem you have with a boy or a girl affect your life and the world is over. No. Like, you still have a dream. Go chase it. No matter what it takes or no matter how hard it is, you can do it. And that's it.
Nah, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, that was super dope. I really like that. But yeah, I'm gonna end it off. One, I gotta say, it's the love that you just showed right now is reciprocated. I love your brand, and even off camera, you know how it is. Like, I'm always gonna support Obscene, Fate, because at the end of the day, it's for me. I know that you guys represent quality over quantity, right? And it's an amazing thing. So, like I said, love is reciprocated. I love you
Appreciate
guys.
that,
I love
man.
you guys in the back. You guys are gonna come very soon. But before I exit, I just want to say, listen, this is the Community Pod. If you're new here, welcome to the Community Pod. It means a lot to for you to even be watching. So if you're new here, welcome, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on any audio platforms, leave a review. It helps me out a lot. Before we go, I gotta introduce you to the entire team that works all day, all night to make Obscene and Fate happen. I gotta bring y'all on. So they're coming to the camera right now.
Hey, yo.
So if you look right there, you guys could come on.
Man, we live and direct in the community podcast. You know, this is the foundation. This is the team. You know what I'm saying?
We got
This
some
is the
others
family.
too, but these are like the main.
You know what I'm
My
saying?
main
If you're new to
brothers
the
right
community pod, you know I've seen on Fate, you're gonna get real tuned real soon. You're gonna have it real fast, man.
here.
All right.
Shout out to my boy for having us.
Of
here.
course,
The
of
guy
course,
right there.
of
The
course.
guy right here,
Y'all
man.
tap in.
All right.
You know, we got stuff.
Yeah,
coming
of
out.
course, man, of course. So I'm gonna go ahead and exit. No, it's cool. You guys are good. I'm gonna exit. I appreciate y'all, and we are out. Peace.
That was good, man.